Hello friends, welcome to a new video in our geography series. In this video, we're going to understand what is solar system and what is the process that led to the formation and evolution of solar system. Solar system is very important for geography because in this we are going to study how the earth was formed, and after that in the next video we are going to understand the evolution of different layers of earth. Now tell me one important thing, which is the most important component in the solar system? Now, you might be tempted to say that it is the Earth because you feel that there is life on Earth, so Earth should be the most important component in the solar system. But Sun is the most important component in the solar system. Why? Because Sun provides energy to all other components in the solar system. Second, without the energy provided by the Sun, life would not have been possible on Earth. Now, there is a theory which explains the formation of Sun. And this is the same theory which explains the formation of all the stars in the universe. And the name of that theory is Nebular Hypothesis. Understanding this theory is important to understand the formation and evolution of solar system. In my previous video, I have already dealt in detail about this theory. If you have not watched that video already, then please go and watch that video first before watching this video, because without that you will not understand the formation of solar system. Now let me tell you something about nebular hypothesis. Nebular hypothesis is the theory used by scientists to explain the formation of different components in the universe, starting from galaxies to stars and planets. Basically, what is nebular hypothesis? It says that when the universe was created, matter was not uniformly distributed across the universe. Even now, when we observe the universe, we see that matter is scattered around in the universe in the form of clumps, and these clumps contain gases and cosmic dust. Gases, mostly hydrogen and helium. What is cosmic dust? Cosmic dust means minute microscopic solid materials which later on create different components in the universe like galaxies and stars. So these collections of gases and cosmic dust is called as nebula. These nebula come in different shapes and sizes. And because of different shapes and sizes, each nebula has different kind of gravitational force. So, bigger nebula has more gravitational force and smaller nebula has less gravitational force. Because of this, bigger nebula attracts smaller nebula towards it. And this process goes on for hundreds of years. After that, this nebula which was attracting smaller nebulae grows in size, and it grows to such an extent that now it is ready to create a star or a planet. Now, how do we determine which nebula becomes a star and which one becomes a planet? It depends on the size of the nebula. Extremely big nebulae create stars because in these nebulae, nuclear fusion reaction is possible because of huge collection of matter in the form of gas and dust. But smaller nebulae gives rise to different other components called planets, asteroids, etc. Now, having understood what is nebulae and what is nebular hypothesis, now let us understand how the solar system was created. Please go and watch my previous video in order to understand the creation of sun. And once the sun was created, other components in the solar system were created. Now let us understand step by step the stages which led to the creation of other components in the solar system. As I told you, sun was created under a nebula, and this nebula, which is basically a collection of gas and dust, was extremely huge. And at the center of this nebula, nuclear fusion reaction began and sun was created. But sun did not take up all the matter which was present in this nebula. It only took up 40 to 50% of the matter, and the remaining 50% of the matter was scattered around the sun. And this matter which was scattered around the sun started revolving around the newly formed sun. This was the first stage in the formation of solar system. In the second stage, this matter which was revolving around the sun compressed and condensed into a shape called disc shaped. So the matter which was revolving around the sun became a disc shaped structure, and it started revolving at a very high speed around the newly formed sun. Now, as I told you in the beginning of the video, that nebular hypothesis is a theory which explains not only the formation of stars but also the planets. Now, when we go inside this disk, we see that the matter, which is the gas and dust, is not uniformly distributed, right? there is a space between different clumps of gas and dust, and this begins the process of formation of planets. Now what happens? Again the same process begins. The bigger nebulae, that is bigger collection of gas and dust, attracts smaller collection of gas and dust inside this disk, and the bigger collection of gas and dust starts growing in size because of this attraction, and this attraction is because of gravity, right? Now the next stage in the formation of solar system is formation of smaller rocks. Now how smaller rocks are created? So when these nebulae, which are growing in size because they are continuously eating up or attracting smaller nebulae from around, they grow in size, right? Now how gravity works? Basically gravity attracts heavier elements faster than lighter elements. For example, if you throw some pieces of rock and paper from a height, then what happens? Rocks reach the bottom faster than paper, right? Why? Because rocks are heavier, paper is lighter, so earth attracts rocks faster than it attracts the paper because it is lightweight, right? Similarly, in these nebulae, what happened? Heavier elements which were present in this nebulae, they started reaching the core, and lighter elements started coming out. And because of this, heavier elements combined together to create small rocks. And this was the beginning of the formation of planets. And lighter elements like gases and other such lighter elements came out of these rocks, and they started revolving around these small rocks. The next stage in the formation of solar system is the formation of protoplanets. Now in previous section I told you that small rocks were created because of gravity. Now these small rocks again join together again because of gravitational pull between these rocks to create bigger rocks, and these big rocks are called as protoplanets. Again, when these big rocks are forming or protoplanets are forming, the lighter elements are pushed outside. Lighter element mainly gases and cosmic dust. Next stage in the formation of planets is actually the formation of planets, and this is the final stage in which the planets are formed. These protoplanets that I talked about in previous section join together again to create big planets like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Now these planets, as I told you, are heavier planets and rocky planets. Why? Because gravity had pulled inside only heavier elements, leading to the formation of rocky planets. But I also told you that lighter elements like gases and cosmic dust are pushed outside when these heavier rocky planets were being formed. Now in the next stage, these gases, especially hydrogen and helium and cosmic dust and some smaller rocks which were left behind when the planets were forming, because when the planets were finally formed, not all rocks became part of these planets. So these rocks and gases and cosmic dust are pushed outside by sun. Let us understand that process. So the next stage in the formation and finalization of the solar system is the effect of solar wind and solar radiations. Sun was created, and sun was there at the center of this process which was creating the planets, right? Sun is heavy and huge. Fine. This sun, which produces energy using nuclear fusion reaction, also throws out huge amount of energy in the form of plasma, and this expulsion of huge amount of energy is called as solar winds. Now these solar winds are very powerful and they contain powerful ions. Now what happened? These solar winds pushed out the lighter gases and cosmic dust which was swirling around the newly formed planets, and it also pushed out small rocks which were left behind when planets were finally formed. So as these gases and cosmic dust and small rocks were pushed outside, these gases started combining together outside the heavy influence of gravity of the sun, and they started forming different types of planets called gaseous planets. So in the first stage, heavy rocky planets were formed. These were near the sun because they were heavy and had huge gravity, hence they were near the sun. But solar winds pushed outside the gases and dust and smaller rocks which remained after the formation of these heavy and rocky planets. Outside the rocky planets, away from the sun, these gases combine together to create four heavy gaseous planets called Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Right? But now, there was one more stage remaining in the formation of solar system. Now we had rocky planets near the sun, gaseous planets away from the sun because of solar wind. Now last thing was to create a proper and perfect solar system, and that happened through the stage of clearing of debris. In this stage, again, the small rocks which could not become part of either the heavy rocky planets or the gaseous planets started collecting in between these two types of planets, and this process was helped again by solar wind and solar radiation. And today we know this collection as asteroid belt. And this is how asteroid belt was created. It was the result of solar wind and radiation and the remaining particles which created the solar system. This is the reason why we are exploring different asteroids in order to understand the formation of solar system, because asteroids are basically rocks which were left out when planets were created. So if we understand asteroids, then it is easy for us to understand the process that led to the formation of solar system. That is why recently NASA brought back material from asteroid Bennu through its OSIRIS-REx mission. Please understand what is OSIRIS-REx mission. It's a very interesting mission. So this was the last stage in the formation of solar system. And this is how solar system was created, and this is how Earth came into being. I hope I was able to explain to you this in a very interesting and easy manner. I hope you understood the formation of solar system. If you have any doubts, then please let me know in the comments. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Please subscribe and share this video to as many aspirants as possible. And in the next video, we are going to study the evolution of Earth. Now we have understood the formation of Earth, but the Earth that was finally created at the end of the formation of solar system was completely different from the Earth that we see today. Now how this change happened, we will be dealing with it in the next video. Until then, study well, take care.